Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ro, and today we're gonna be talking about Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson because this is the first book I've ever read of him, and I've got a lot of good things to say about it. So we're gonna roll the titles and continue with this because I don't even know where to start, but I really want to talk about it. Okay, so we really need to talk about Warbreaker. We need to talk about Brandon Sanderson. So let me give you a little bit of insight first. So Brandon Sanderson is an author that I do follow on YouTube. I always watch his videos, and it is the person that I admire a lot because I am a writer, and I don't know, I'm pretty annoying in that sense of being a writer because I'm very critical about everything, and it's kind of hard for me to, I don't know, grab a book and just watch it with see it with reader's eyes, because I always see it with my writer eyes and I see everything that could have gone better and everything that could have gone worse. And I don't know why pinpoint mistakes that people do or things that I don't like or just things that could have been uh, handled in a different way. But Brandon Sanderson is a person that it is a writer that I was thinking maybe I'm not gonna have that many problems with reading him because I feel like he's gonna be awesome. So a friend of mine, actually my best friend, one of my besties, Ivy, she told me, hey, okay, so read Warbreaker first because this is a book that I'm super frustrated by because she told me a little bit about the ending. And because I don't care about spoilers, like you can spoil anything to me and I'm not gonna be angry about it. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read it, but you go ahead and tell me. And so she told me, hey, yeah, this happens in the ending. She didn't give that many details. She just told me that she was frustrated because it's been so long and he hasn't followed up with the book and all of that. So I was like intrigued because she was like so into these, and she's been reading the Stormlight archives and she's been reading Elantris and all that. So I was really intrigued because this wasn't her first Sanderson book, but she was like really hyped about it. So I was there like, oh, okay, well that it's okay. That's gonna be the first book I read of him, especially because he himself said like that book's just out there for people to read it. So they can see if they like it, if they go ahead and buy other books of him. So that seemed like a fair deal. So I grabbed the book and started reading it. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, the first chapters, they were like difficult for me to read through because I wasn't invested in Siri. It's hard for me to get invested in characters. It's really difficult. If you know me, you know that it's really rare that I have favorite characters ever. But anyways, Bashar is also introduced, and I was not interested in him in the least. But then I got interested throughout the story. It was like it took me a while. Let me tell you that it took me a while. It was like I was reading Basher and I was like, yeah, I don't care about you. Jump to the other page. I want to get done with you. And I was like, hey, he's turning out to be interesting. And then when I realized that the book was named after him, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But at the beginning, he wasn't interesting to me in the least. But that's not something bad. He's just like, I feel like it is well done. That you don't really care about Basher. I mean, like I didn't really care about Basher at the beginning, because it's just like it makes sense with his character. He doesn't want you to care about him. He's just over there trying to fix his mistakes. So it's really well done. So anyways, at the beginning I didn't really care about Siri, and I didn't really give a fuck about Vivena. I was just like, this kid is so stupid. She's gonna get herself kidnapped and everything, and she almost did. Like, oh my god. I was so angry at Vivena for so many things throughout the story. And then I was like, I am really proud that you got to grow up. Oh, god damn it. So that's that's not everything I have to say. So now we should go with the story. So I have things to say about a couple of characters. Siri wasn't interesting to me until she came to Hallandren and she started having these interactions with the God King, because that just made me really intrigued. She started to become, I don't know, more confident in herself, and I really like the development of Siri. The development of her character was really good because it's just like small, it's not like she's just a different person, but you can see that she grew, into herself, into her confidence, and like, where you go, girl. I'm so proud of you. And that was really, really nice to see in her character, and how curious she is, and how she's like, hey, this thing is happening and I kind of gotta help. Like, I know that I'm not the right person to help, but I still want to do the right thing and just go ahead and help, which I feel like it is incredible, and it is such a good character because it's not this person that's just standing there and just waiting for somebody to tell them that she's gonna do something. It's like, I was put into this position and I have to act in certain ways, but I'm not gonna be led by them. I'm gonna do whatever I please still, and that's really, really nice about her character. So I just really liked her. Like I said at the beginning, I was like, yeah, she's just a typical royal that is bored of her life, and that bores me. So, but then I really come to like her development, because she started growing a lot. Now, we need to talk about the God King, because my darling Ron is one of my favorite characters, and he didn't even get to speak that much. I mean, like, he doesn't speak until the end of the book, and I was just like, what? Everything we get from him is like in written form or anything like it, or because of serious perception, and he's just such a lovable character, because you can see that he has this great innocence in him. And I just love that, because he's really like this grown-up man, grown-ass man, and he just doesn't understand shit about the world because he wasn't instructed in it, and he's old enough, but he doesn't, and he's got so much innocence and trust around himself that you just get to, I don't know, I just got to love it a lot. And the development of his character also, I mean, like how Siri presents him, because we mostly see him through her eyes, and how he's just this guy that's, I don't know, trying his best, and he's a really good-hearted person. He's just lovable in every sense of the world, and in every sense of the word. And I don't know, I loved him till the very end, and when he got to speak, and I was like so happy in that moment, happy and sad, because I was crying my eyes out. But I'm gonna tell you about that later, because we already know what this story is like, but we're gonna talk about that later. Anyways, that was such a good thing. So anyways, Brown, it's my baby. I'm adopting him. That's it. So Vivenna drove me crazy. Because it was just like, oh my god, you're like, inside of me I was thinking, sos una caprichosa. Because everything she was doing was so capricious, and I was just like, why I mean like it is right that you're having this sort of crisis inside of yourself, and you're just over there like, oh my god, now that I cannot get to my duty, I don't know who I am and all of that. I mean, like, I understand her crisis, but everything she did was so capricious at the beginning to me. And then I was like, oh my god, and you're so judgy. You're judging everyone like you're better than anybody. But then she gets called out on that, and she gets called out by herself even. and that's pretty awesome. But I found it funny because, like I told you, I was like, this girl is gonna get herself killed. She's gonna get herself kidnapped. I mean, like the first time when she meets the oh my god, the mercenaries, which I don't remember the names now. Dent and Thong Fa, I think they were. Yeah, then Thong Fa and Jules. It's been a couple of days since I finished reading the book. So then Thong Fa and Jules, and then Claude. Yeah, that was it. When she meets, but she meets Dan and Thong Fa, you know, it is that I was just like, um, they obviously have no good intentions in here. Like, how can you even trust them? But they took her out so good that she goes ahead and trusts them, and I'm just here like, you should have never done that. Like, that was your first mistake, darling. But no, no, seriously. Um, then I don't know. Lots of things happened around her that I didn't really care about until Bashar showed up and everything started tying up together. And you know, when he kind of was mentioned alongside Thonfa and Dent, because Dent had a different name because he was one of the first five scholars, wasn't he? Um, and when he was mentioned in that moment, I think that that's the moment in which I started to pay attention to to Vaj to Bashir and be like, he sounds interesting. If he causes trouble, he sounds interesting. So anyway, also the moment in which Denth and Bashir are having their final fight. What the god damn it. And he just gives him the breads and and then he's like, yeah, nobody will expect that you give them breads and then you kill them because that is just like losing a lot of wealth. And you wanted to know how I killed the other one? That's how. I was like, oh my god, boy. But I just got ahead way too quickly because I wanted to speak about another stuff about Basher. But the thing is that when he was mentioned for the first time, then I was like, oh my god, I want Basher and Viviana to meet. I really want them to meet. Because I was just like thinking, he's so grumpy all the time, and Viviana is like so Viviana. I don't know how to describe her, seriously. And I felt like they will get along really well. And it will be really nice because she will get to practice with, with the awakening and all of that. And I was really hoping for Viviana to go ahead and stop being so judgy and just get her hands into it and just go ahead and awake things, because I really wanted her to. Because I felt like, oh my god, this girl, if she becomes an awakener, she's gonna be like impressive, seriously. So I was really hoping for that to happen, and I was really glad when it did. And I remember that I sent a friend to my I sent a friend to my message. I was about to say that. I sent a message to my friend, and I told her, oh my god, I feel like Viviana and Basher are gonna hit it off. Like, they're probably gonna end up liking each other way too much. And I hope that that happens in future books, because she told me that I think that their story goes on in other books. And I feel like that's awesome. And I really want to see it. But if not, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look for fanfics. But I'd be glad to look for fanfics in that. Because I feel like they will be a really nice couple. Even if it's just a couple of friends. I feel like they are so nice together, you know? Anyways, so I really wanted them to meet. So I was really happy when they did. Really happy. Anyways, so talking about Basher, there's this moment that I cannot get out of my mind because I have such a vivid image of it, you know, when he is fighting in the castle, you know, and he gets to fight the soldiers, and he gets to fight the lifeless soldiers, and he just grabs Nightblood, and he goes ahead and just destroys everything. And I feel like that would be such a scene to adapt into a movie, or into a series. I mean, like, visually, feels like that would be so crazy awesome. And that was the moment in which I was sold in, and yeah, Basher is really dope. So that was awesome. Anyway, I think that's everything I have to say about Basher. So then, about the gods and the Hallandren religion and all of that. It's really interesting how everything works around them. There's a couple of gods that are like, they have no sense to them, but the ones I care more about, because I think that it's the ones that we saw of the most, Blushweaver and Lyson. My dear Lyson. Blushweaver got on my fucking nerves. Each fucking time. I was like, the first time she showed up, I was like, oh my god, yes, a goddess. She's gonna be amazing. And I was like, you're so annoying. Because she reminded me to, when a guy hits on you and he never stops hitting on you because the only thing he wants to do is just get in your pants. She reminded me to that so much. And I was like, darling, that is not right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a guy, if you're a girl, or if it's whatever. And that just bothered me so much that I could not fucking enjoy her character in the least. I was like, every time she showed up, I was like, yeah, she's gonna hit on this poor kid that has already said no enough times, and she's not gonna stop. And everything always led to that with her. And that bothered me so much because I've seen guys do it in real life, and it's annoying. And like, I want to kill them when they do that. So imagine my face every time she showed up. And then she snapped at Siri at one point, like Son is the only good person in this court. Don't try to get him into your business, and the whole that. And I was just like, dude, chill out. She did nothing wrong. And like, seriously, I was so rooting for Blushweaver to be like this big character, and then she goes ahead and screws everything up, and I was like so frustrated with her because it was like, I was rooting for you, you jerk. Why do you disappoint me like that? But anyway, so that's it. We've said enough about Blushweaver. So now we're gonna talk about Lyson, which is my favorite character in the whole book, and I think that it's probably most people's favorite character, because how can you not love him? I mean, like, everything about him was so great. I mean, like, he's hilarious, and he's a jerk. And he's the kind of jerk that you're like, yeah, he's a lovable jerk, because he makes you laugh, but he's got these bursts of sincerity that you're just like, dude, you're so awesome for being like that, And everything revolving around him, was crazy. Also, Larimar was a very interesting character. And then when it comes to the part in which we get to find out that Larimar is actually Lyson's brother, and like, I was a priest before, but then you died, and then you return, and the way in which you died, because you died saving your niece, and you died for somebody else, and the whole, when I read that part, I was crying like a baby, because it was such an important part of Lyson's story to get to find out who he was in his past, because he was really curious about it, and he did all of these things, just to know who he really was and why he was so good at certain things, like mathematics or investigating stuff. So it was really nice to get that completeness of his story, with getting him to find out something that it was a little bit disturbing for him, because it wasn't as great as he hoped to be, but still, it was his past, and the way in which he died, that he's called Lyson the Bold, because he died saving a life, then he came back and all that. And then when he dies, to save Susbron, to say Susbron, pronounce it correctly. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation though, but that's the pronunciation that I went on with it in my head. So anyway, when he dies, say Susbron, and Larimar goes and tells him the crazy part about this is that it is the second time he died to save somebody else. And I was in fucking tears. I was in fucking tears at that moment. I just couldn't handle myself. Like, I cannot even explain to you. And I kept reading with tears in my eyes, and I was like, that is my child. That is indeed my child. And I was so happy that he was my favorite character throughout the whole story, because I feel like his arc was so fulfilling, just felt right. I don't know. My child. Lyson and Susbron, they were my children throughout the entire story. And I'm so proud of my children. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about the ending, because the ending is pretty much the reason why I read it. So my friend was really, really annoyed by the ending, because she was like, why do you cut it there? Why don't you follow it up, And it's just this moment in which, they get all of the Khaled's army, Khaled's phantoms. They get the Khaled's phantoms to march into Idris, just to fight the lifeless, and that. And we never get to see the battle going, we just hope it works. And then Vivena and Bashar leave. And so I understand why somebody will be super frustrated by that, but I am not. I am not, because I'm that kind of writer that just leaves an open ending for you to imagine whatever you want to imagine, and like you fill in the gaps. And I've done worse than that, because I'm a jerk. I'm really a jerk. And so I wasn't angry, because inside of me it was like, if you get angry, you will be a complete hypocrite, because you do the same thing. So you cannot be angry about this. But I feel like everything just tied up well together. So I cannot really get angry about the ending. I cannot tell you that that's just how I feel, because it's not. Now, to get an ending to all of these, because I've talked for long enough and nobody wants that much. So this was my first Brandon Sanderson book, and I was really looking forward to read him, because I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about, because I've watched so many of his videos. So I was just thinking that, this guy really knows what he's talking about, and he feels like a really great author. So I really wanted to get into his writing style. And also I loved it because he writes a lot of dialogue, a lot of things are talked about, and you find them out through dialogue. And I love that, because that's the kind of writer I am. I like to have discussions between my characters. I like them to find out things between them telling each other, stories being told, because I like to have that human interaction between the characters. So I really enjoy that about his writing. But then even the parts in which he was, I don't know, his descriptions were so good that I really enjoy them, because they were not jarring to read. He's a really interesting author, and he has so many good ideas, and I really enjoyed his writing, which is kind of crazy to say, because I think that the last book that I read that I really, really enjoyed, like, that I couldn't stop reading it was George R. R. Martin, and it was Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones series, which is one of my favorite series ever. So I'm very picky with my writers. There's a couple of stories that I've read, that I really enjoyed. Clea Legrand, she's another impressive author that I read her books. I read the two, Furyborn and Kingsbane, which were the two first, because when I started reading her books, Lightbringer hadn't come out yet. And I really enjoyed her writing, you know. She's really awesome as well. But you know, there's still things that I was just like bored reading. So the last time it happened to me, something like this, that I couldn't stop reading the book, and that I was not being that picky, it was with George R. R. Martin. So there's a whole bunch of authors I still have to find out, you know, because it's been a long since I've read books, because I've been so busy with so many other things. So anyways, I think that for my first experience with Brandon Sanderson, this was amazing. And the next book that I'm going to read of him is Elantris, and I'm really, really like hyped. Yeah, I'm really hyped to go into it, because I'm looking forward to read more of what he's got in store to create, you know, and the way in which he does things, because I know that Elantris is going to be quite different to what this was, and so I'm not expecting the same, but I'm expecting sort of the same kind of quality, because I know he's a quality author, and that I'm really going to enjoy it. So I don't know, I'm just looking forward to it. And yeah, I think that that's everything that I have to say. I think that I might have forgotten things throughout the way. But if I forgotten them, but if I have forgotten them, then they don't matter. That's the thing. So, anyways, yeah, that's everything I have to say. I can't believe that I actually did it. I've been procrastinating doing this review for like a couple of days already, because I finished reading this book on Sunday, and it's Thursday. I'm a mess. I'm sorry. So, anyways, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna be reading books, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of reviews, and there's music in my channel as well, so you can find a whole bunch of stuff. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with me. You know what to do if you like the channel. Talk to me in the comments about this book, because I really, really, really like to read what people have to say about books and what they think of them, and have a discussion, because maybe in the comments you say something that I forgot to say, and then we can talk with each other and enjoy this book for what it is, you know, and for how great it was. And if you know any fanfics about this book, it will be great. I'll be taking them. And yeah, that's it. Always remember to be positive, kind, and curious, and that is my cue to leave. So bye bye, people.